Sasha.
Hi, Tasha and Sasha. You look
Hello,
so
Sasha.
good. Your pink caught my eye as soon as we walked
Oh,
over.
thank you
You're so
so
beautiful.
much. I'm so humble. I love that you're complimenting me. It's not
Thank
anything to
you.
take lightly.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So, congratulations on season 4. What has this experience been like for you, being a host on such a phenomenal project and also an Emmy Award winning project?
Oh my gosh, we had big shoes to fill because Bob and Eureka and Shangela did such a great job transforming the communities that they stepped into, putting on amazing drag shows, reminding the world just how powerful our art and our community is when we stick together. Um, but this is what I do, and I have my own spin on drag, and I wanted to show that that belongs in this picture too. That my drag also belongs in these small towns, the kinds of towns where I grew up, where people made me feel like I wasn't welcome, but we belong everywhere.
If you weren't currently doing drag, like what is it that you would be doing? And when you're not doing drag, what can we catch you doing?
When I'm not, I'm rarely not doing drag. I'm doing all the office work that drag takes behind the scenes because, we're a one person, I have my partner and a couple friends holding me together, but we're a small operation running a whole entertainment empire, I like to say. So I'm doing that. When I'm not doing that, I'm walking my dog or gardening. I'm very naturey, earth mother like that. Take all the plastic off and get my hands dirty. If I weren't doing drag, I think I'd be a teacher like my parents. My dad taught history and my mom taught English as a second language. And I just we need to know our history so that we know how to keep moving forward.
And I love, speaking of history, what is the one thing about the LGBTQ plus community that you feel like the world needs and should be knowledgeable about that, quite frankly, they're likely oblivious about?
It's exactly that we are not a trend. This is nothing new. There is evidence of queer and trans existence from when people began to walk and use tools. We use them to put on makeup and transform ourselves and just experience a little hope and a little joy in this world. And drag has been around forever. We made pop culture. We invented theater, so we belong on these stages.
Absolutely. And what's your queen superpower before I let you go?
My queen superpower. I think it is the power to read people's minds. Or I can at least read their expression.
What am I thinking right now, Sasha? Tell me.
You're thinking you feel fabulous, but your feet hurt.
Sasha's the best.
I love you so much, Tasha. Thank you for having me. See you.
Thank you.
Hello, Queen.
Priyanka,
I like your dress.
hello. Oh,
Your
thank you
shoes.
so much. Thank you, thank you,
Go,
thank
Jeremy,
you.
let's go.
You look and you showing up in all the gold. Oh, thank
All
you
the
so
golds.
much. Listen,
Well, for an Emmy award-winning show. You look like a
listen.
trophy.
You
I
literally
figured,
look like a
but
trophy.
just like the Emmy.
So listen, since you brought up an Emmy, how optimistic are you about this upcoming Emmy season? Do you feel like this series is going to land a couple of nominations? Because this is a 4-time winning Emmy Award winning series. So talk to me.
Oh, wow. That's a wild question to even answer. I remember going to television school and being like, wow, one day, and I'd say it all the time, I'd be like crazy. I'd be like, I'm going to win an Emmy one day, and I'm going to win this award. And people would look at you like you're crazy. They're like, girl, you believe in yourself? Like, that's not, people don't do that. Cut to being booked on an Emmy award-winning show. It's very, very interesting. And then it's interesting, like, hearing people talk about, like, oh, like, do you think that this is going to win an Emmy? Like, do you think that this is going to get the buzz that it needs? And it's funny because when we were creating it, we never thought about that. So when you're watching the story back, I keep saying this, it's like no one gets murdered, but I keep saying it's like a murder mystery where you're, like, so hooked in, and, like, you're, at the end of the episodes, you're like, wait a minute, like, we might get arrested, and like, we might get shot, like, people are sending us death threats, that you're, like, wondering, like, wait, how am I watching this show in 2024? Like, this doesn't feel right. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean? So, yes, Emmys. And also, yes, more viewers so they could feel more inspired. Because the stories that we're telling are all over the place. Like, we got, like, really, like, gay right parents, dad hug kind of parents. We got, dads that have, like, trans kids who are like, oh, like, I am accepting, but it's hard for me, like, just honest, like, and I'm like, wow, like, for our parents to go on television and be like, yeah, like, I love my child, but it's hard for me. Wow, I love that. I don't love that for their family, but I love that. I love that they're being honest about the process because it's hard for a lot of people to understand all of this.
Absolutely. And you guys experience like so much. I can only imagine filming because we literally just got like a little tidbit
Yeah.
on screen. Talk to me about braving the hate.
Haters gonna
How
hate.
did you, I mean, seriously, like, how did you brave through such negativity and some of the hate that you guys unfortunately were faced with?
Dealing with negativity is just what being a person of color is all about. Every single day, there are so many stores that you go into and they still follow you around thinking you're gonna steal. You know, like all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, like it's funny being asked this question because I'm like, oh, like if you talk to any person of color, we all have the same answer. It doesn't matter if you're gay, it doesn't matter if you're straight, it doesn't matter nothing. It's the same thing that we always face all the time. And I'm so sick of being a victim to it that I'm like, we gotta shoulders back and we gotta make space for ourselves because that's what's important. So that, telling myself those mantras helps. And clapping back at the haters too.
It's the message I have for the
Listen, I'm not even about to ask you in what ways did you pop back.
Always popping back. But Sasha taught me how to be more patient. She taught me to like, okay, like listen, like ask more thought-provoking questions. Don't just be screaming at everybody, because you know I'm spicy. So, but I learned a lot.
What inspires the queen in you?
Your questions are really good, by the way. Because some people ask the questions, you're like, girl. Anyways, like just Google me.
Hello, Google her.
I would say,
We're here.
oh, okay. The thing that inspires the queen in me is the kid I was when I was in my bedroom. I would lock the door. I would put up curtains. I would turn on a fan, and I would perform "Catered to You" by Destiny's Child. That's the queen in me, because the queen's always been there. I just put a wig on. Cool, right?
So much, listen, beyond cool. You are lit.
Beyonce. Love you.
Yes, thank you. You do too.
You look amazing. Can we switch dresses at the end of the night?
If you really, let's do it.
I'm willing. Meet me in the bathroom, okay? First of all, congratulations on all the success of the show. What has it been like being a host on season 4? And what is it that the fans can expect to see with you in particular?
I think that first of all, doing the show has been amazing. I think it's been so natural for us to record the show. So now having like these like crazy press moments and seeing so much love and respect for the show has been so amazing because we have worked very hard. But I mean, I'm having a great time being here, and I feel proud of myself, and I can expect that the fans will expect to see what they know of me. They know that I'm very true to who I am. They know that I have a very open heart, and I just want to come into this. I wanted to come into this space and just give that to whatever this was, and it's transformed me, and I hopefully transformed some lives around the world too.
And speaking of transformations, without spilling all the tea, is there one particular queen transformation that stands out the absolute most for you throughout this season that you could share with me?
Absolutely. I have to say, I have a drag daughter who has a big beard. I'm not going to say how much of a transformation that happens, but because I want you to see it and watch and see, but. The transformation meant so much because even noticing, aside from what the drag looked like on the outside, I know that it meant a lot to their family, that they could see a change in them, and being in drag meant like they were like more of an ally to the family. So I say, regardless of what it looks like on the outside with the drag transformations, what happens on the inside and what happens in the communities is the biggest part of the show.
We all know there was, hate and negativity that all of you experienced, throughout filming this particular project. Was there any particular episode, filming on set, location that you felt, did you kind of like fear for your life? Like, did you ever have a moment like that?
Absolutely. There was a moment where I didn't really fear necessarily for my life, but there was this like very like weird, a very weird feeling, like almost like the first time that I was queer in some spaces, and I just felt like I wasn't myself and I wasn't like out. And that was when we went to a city hall meeting, which is the oddest place you would imagine that somebody could feel very isolated and feel very unwelcome. But we went into the State House, and they had like people come up and give remarks, and some of the remarks were extremely wild, extremely racist. They started the city hall meeting with a prayer, which there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, and it was just, that space just left me feeling very confused and uncomfortable. Yeah.
I let you go, what's your queen superpower?
I feel like my queen superpower, no lie. Oftentimes I say it's like me being able to beat a mug, but I feel like a lot of the girls can do makeup and do a great job doing makeup. But I do have to say I have a very big heart and I'm very compassionate. So sometimes I used to treat that like it was a weakness, but it turns out that obviously it's one of my strengths. So yes.
Drops the mic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, love.
How are you?
I'm better now.
Hello. Now, don't you come over here starting no stuff now, Latrice. I'm
Don't
trying to
start
keep
no
my
more
justice.
me
Don't start nothing on me. Latrice, I want to start by asking you, what is that one quote that the world and the fans know you by? Or when they think of Latrice, what is that quote?
Get those nuts away from my face.
Now, what does being bold and vivacious, as a, LGBTQ plus amazing individual, right? Like, what does that mean for you?
Well, I call myself the larger than charge, chunky yet funky, and when I say larger than charge, baby, that's a lifestyle. It's not just about my size. It's about living your life fully and authentically and not giving a damn what anybody thinks about you. That's what it's about.
Anything that you can share with me about your journey that maybe was not obviously shared throughout season 4? I know obviously you worked with, a couple of mini queens, and you brought them out of their box, but what is that one thing that you would like to share about your journey?
Well, my journey throughout this experience when we're here, I came to some resolved issues with my faith, and I struggled, for a long time, and getting to go into a church and getting affirming words, letting me know that my drag is a ministry and that I'm doing good work. That was life-changing for me. That was a revelation for sure.
Any particular, person that you worked with throughout season 4 whose story stands out the absolute most to you, that you will literally always remember for the rest of your life?
Well, is her name Anika? It was actually Jaida's daughter who stood out for me the most because I've never met anyone who was intersex. I never knew what that involved, and this is definitely a light that needs to be shined. Is it shined? Shown? Shined it did? Shined it did?
Sean it in. Listen, we making up words over here, honey.
But no, yeah, you know what I mean. But because people have actually they don't have any information about it because we don't hear those stories. And so it's going to be very educational, and I definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, and why do you feel like it's so important to, have stories like this in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, portrayed on the big screen for the world to see?
Because these are real lives that exist, and if we go through ignoring it and acting like that is some sort of problem without normalizing it and letting people know that all types of people exist in this world, we're never going to move forward. And so that I think it's going to be very educational and helpful for a lot of people.
Before I let you go, Latrice, what's your queen superpower? We are just cutting up over here.
Okay, my queen superpower, in a single bound, all I have to do is flex my chest. And I can knock a bitch into the next century. Oh yeah. Oh, that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Good day. My pleasure. Thank you so much, my beautiful.
Thank you. So dapper.
I love the shoes.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we are here embarking upon season 4. What does this moment feel like for you, just being here at this FYC season 4 premiere?
This is, I think, so important for us to be here tonight. We are so grateful because this season, unbeknownst to us, turned into the most urgent season yet of the show. That for the first 3 seasons, we were showing queer joy, we were showing the trials and tribulations of what it meant to be in drag. This season, our rights are being stripped away, one by one. throughout the country and many of the places that we visited. And this season is so important to us. So we are so grateful to be here, so thankful to HBO, and I believe this is our best season yet.
This leads me to asking about the filming locations. Walk me through that process. Like, what determines whether or not you guys decide to film in a particular city and or state?
Well, this season's a bit different. We actually go to my home state of Tennessee, and what we really were searching for was real human beings that were affected by this political climate or these anti-LGBTQ ordinances or anti-trans bills. It was really important for us to put a human face to those headlines, because you're just seeing them, in your news feed constantly just taking over, and you're like, what is it? You start to get a little immune to it. And what's so important is we've stopped connecting from person to person, and what the show is about is human connection. So what we really wanted to expose, some of those headlines and the people behind all the different types of voices, some very extreme voices and some people that are actually willing to sit down with us and have a conversation, some that aren't, and just sort of know how, and we want to teach people how to engage, when to just walk away. And it's very important that this season we picked Tennessee and Oklahoma because those are the two, at the moment, there's bills all across the country, but those are the two most difficult places to be in, to be LGBTQIA+ today.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the most challenging parts of me watching the series was, the hate that was, obviously put out on a platform, which had me as a viewer wondering, like, when it comes to the overall safety of the queens, of the cast members, just everyone, even you guys as co-creators, executive producers, so on and so forth, were there any particular safety precautions put into place to make sure that everybody stays safe and protected while on set?
HBO was wonderful about this. We didn't go anywhere where we didn't feel safe. We always had security with us. We had people scoping out the situations beforehand in the event that there could be some problem, and that, with the rare exception of the one time I felt anxious, was while we were in the holding room before we were going out in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, to the meet and greet. And the doors were closed, and I could hear people screaming the most hateful things. And I thought, I have no idea what we're going into, but I felt secure because I knew we had security, and I knew we were doing something that was important.
And was there any particular city or state that you felt was the most dangerous, from your angle when it comes to this particular project?
Well, there in Oklahoma is open carry, and in particular at the same event, they were holding signs that says "Got AIDS yet?" And for me that hit very close to home because I actually lost a partner to HIV years and years ago. To see those signs again was very triggering, and I just didn't know much about these folks, and we learned that there's a community called the Warriors for Christ, which are they hold guns, and thankfully again we had the team in security there to make sure to scope out the situation. And also I have to say we had Latrice Royale, who you don't want to piss off Latrice, and to take over that situation was was very, very it ended up turning out to be a really great time, but I definitely was nervous in Oklahoma.
And before I let the both of you go, let's have a little bit of fun. I'm a genie. Let's just act like this is the bottle.
All right.
I'm giving you one wish. What is the one wish that you would like me to grant you?
Trump goes away forever and ever and ever.
That's good. What about yourself?
I want queer people to thrive in all parts of this country. I want trans folks to be celebrated. Sorry, I get 3 wishes. And I want non-binary kids to be able to use the bathroom and not feel fearful of going to the bathroom. And I just think I want the queer folks to be celebrated and revered. It's America, and it's what's so wonderful is that we come together as we're all come from different places, and I think to get back to celebrate those things that we have in common versus our differences is really what I would hope for. So that's a lot of wishes, but hopefully you'll give them to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
Really,
Yeah.
Thank you for
I'll catch you guys on the inside. We'll have a cocktail.
Okay,
together.
great.
Good. We'll have fun.
Thank you, definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, how are you? So I definitely want to start by saying congratulations on landing a season 4. How does that make you feel that you guys are here today?
I mean, I think there's a lot of ways in which we never imagined we'd have come this far with the show, and we're incredibly proud of what we've done. We're really proud of the queens. We're really proud of the entertaining stories that we're able to tell. We're also surprised because of where we find ourselves in the world at this time, and the situation is very different from what it was in 2019 when we started. But no, we're really excited for people to see it.
What do you think it is about this series that literally keeps landing with all of the fans, all of the viewers? Do you feel like it's just that real life touch, you know, when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community and these real life stories that people are vulnerable enough to come out and, you know, speak on and share with the world?
I mean, I think it is the fact that we're trying to be so authentic and go into these places and show people that, well, you know, the people who live here aren't that all that different from the people who live where you live, you know. And ultimately to show that people generally, I know this is very kumbaya sounding, but people generally would rather come together, and they just need a chance to have permission to meet each other where they are and talk and hang out. And I mean, the drag shows that this show does give people a great opportunity to do that.
And in what ways would you say this particular project has different from others that you've worked on, like over the duration of your career in general?
This is in many ways the most unique project I've worked on. I mean, I've worked on a lot of stuff where people are going through transformations or they're going through something difficult, but to bring this really kooky, wonderful, celebratory element of drag and to be able to do this whole live performance as a part of the process that people are going through is such a cool thing, and also really wild and outside of other stuff that I've done. It's a very unique show for that reason.
Before I let you go, being the behind-the-scenes director of this series, actually Emmy Award-winning series, right? You guys have won 4 Emmy Awards. How are you feeling about this particular Emmy season that we're ramping up into?
Well, you know, I think we're very excited about this season, and so we have the highest hopes that people will see the show and maybe we get the recognition that we think it deserves, because I think it's a really entertaining show and I think it's a really important one, and this season probably the most important one we've done.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, and again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, Heidi, I just want to know, how has your life changed since the whole Drag Race experience started for you?
Oh my goodness. Well, my life has changed so much. I can afford food. I know where I'm going to sleep at night. That's always lovely. But honestly, it's brought a lot of joy, a lot of connections. The sisterhoods that I've made from the experience is probably the number one thing that I've gained from it. Like, best friends for life, like Jaida, Jimbo, all the girls. It's been a great and incredible experience.
And what would be your queen superpower if you had to name one? I mean, those eyelashes are incredible.
I was going to say flight with the power of my natural lash. You know, just a little mascara really gives it's not the amount of mascara you use, it's the technique. It's all about the wand and the twist of the wrist.
Well, good to see you. You're looking amazing tonight.
Thank you. It's nice to see you. Have a lovely, lovely time.